Hey guys, today you get to learn about inequalities. So we've been working a lot with expressions and we've been working with equations, and we've seen a little bit with inequalities with basic less than, greater than, equal to. We even introduced the equal sign with a slash through it, which means not equal. But I'm going to introduce some more symbols that you've probably already seen, you probably already know, but we're going to jot it down in our journal so that we have it listed for us. Okay, one that we already know is the less than symbol. So we are going to fill in this table with some examples as well, word phrases and the meanings. So the word phrase, if you see it written out in words, which that's something that I know is a struggle, like just like when we were doing the independent dependent from a word problem, it can be hard sometimes to figure out exactly what I'm trying to pull out. So word phrases to help you know that you're talking about less than. You might see fewer than or below. There are others, but because my box is tiny, we're going to just stick with that. Okay. Up in these little bubbles up here, we have all of our symbols too. So I'm going to go ahead and put less than in one of those bubbles. Okay, another one that we are familiar with is the opposite, which is greater than. So go ahead and write in the meaning, greater than. And some of the word phrases could be more than, above, if I stick with kind of the opposites of what I already used. And that is going to look just like a basic greater than symbol. Here's where the new things come into play. So it looks like less than, but it has a line underneath it. What this means is less than or equal to. Less than or equal to. So some key words for this might say at most, which means it could be less than the most, but it could also be exactly the most or the maximum. No more than. So it can include less than a certain number, but no more than a certain number. And then the opposite of that would be greater than or equal to. And keywords for this are at least and no less than. Okay, so what exactly is an inequality? I have the symbols, I know the meanings, I have some examples of word phrases. Oh, I also forgot to put these up here. So sorry. Let's add those in real quick. Okay, so an inequality is a mathematical sentence that shows the relationship between quantities that are not equal. Okay, so if I'm looking at an example like this, what this reads is x is less than or equal to 3. I love mathematical sentences because you don't have to use words. You just use symbols and numbers. So x is less than or equal to 3. This speaks a whole lot of information to us. So what would this maybe look like on a number line? You guys have to be able to graph inequalities. So in order to graph an inequality, I want to use a solid or a colored in circle for inequalities that use less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. So if it's exactly the number or less than that number, I'm going to put a point at 3 and color it in, because x could be any number that's exactly 3, but it could also be any number less than 3. So I draw my line to the left and I put an arrow showing that x could be any number smaller than 3, but it can also be exactly 3. Okay, but what if it's only less than 3? Not exactly 3, it's just less than 3. It could be any number less than 3. Okay, I'm still gonna start at 3, but I'm gonna use an open circle for less than or greater than to show that this is my starting point, but it's any number less than 3, not to include 3. It can't be equal to 3. That's all you do to graph an inequality. All you have to remember is an open circle does not include the number. A colored in circle does include that number. Okay, so my example says that a child needs to be at least 48 inches tall to ride the Ferris wheel. So what does that mean? At least 48 inches. Okay, it means that they've got to be exactly 48 inches or taller. So that means greater than. So what my inequality will look like is C, the child, has to be greater than or equal to 48 inches. Okay, they can be exactly 48 or they can be taller than 48, but they can't be anywhere less than. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and label my number line. I'm going to count by 4s. So 44, 5, 6, 7, 48, right in the middle, 9, 50, 51, 52 over here. Okay, so because the child can be exactly 48 inches, I'm going to include 48, but the child can also be anything taller than 48 inches. So I'm going to draw my arrow to the right. Okay, if you want to try the next one, you can pause it and then check it whenever you're ready. The temperature is more than 2 times yesterday's low temperature of 45 degrees. The temperature is more than 2 times yesterday's low temperature of 45 degrees. Okay, this one's kind of tricky because it's got 2 pieces of information. 2 times means that I'm multiplying something by 2. What am I multiplying that by? 45 degrees. So my temperature is more than, greater than 2 times the temperature of 45. So what is 2 times 45? It's 90. So 90 is what I'm going to put in the middle here, and I'm going to skip count by 5. So I'm going to have 95 this way, and I'm going to have 85 this way. Okay, so if I want to show that t is greater than 90, but it can't include 90, I'm going to have an open circle and an arrow to the right to show my temperatures greater than 90. Okay, we're going to do some more practice and a lot more examples. So these notes get glued into your journal. They should already be there. If they are not, stop this video here and go ahead and glue them in. You're going to have another video that you're going to pull up in a minute. It's going to be titled 7.8 Writing and Graphing Inequalities. We're going to do a lot more examples and more practice together. And then you're going to have an independent practice that you're going to start today, and you're probably going to have to finish tomorrow.